Is it Jolene? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, you got it right the first time. Good job.
Okay, welcome. And Jolene, where are you calling in from?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Ah, cool. Welcome. And we have Lisa as well. And I don't see an image of Lisa, but that's fine. Can you hear us okay, Lisa? Don't hear me at Mike either. So anyway, so do you have surgery, or where is your journey happening now with the weight loss?
I am scheduled to have surgery on the 25th.
On the 25th of June.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, right. And how did you hear about this Zoom meeting?
From the bariatric group that.
Okay. Great. Well, you never know with the amount of posts that I post out there in the weight loss surgery community. So I never know. Have you seen any of my Finding Wendy videos?
I've seen a couple of them, yes.
Yeah. Have you find it being helpful?
Yeah. It was, I think, one that I watched a while ago. Actually supposed to have surgery in March.
Okay.
But COVID got in the way.
Right.
And so I needed a break from looking at things for a little bit because I was really disappointed from the pushing back of surgery and everything. So, but I remember watching one showing, like what you take to lunch with you, and like a life of kind of with your workout and making meals and stuff like that.
So I think Lisa has her microphone on now. Can you hear us okay, Lisa?
Oh, hi, Wendy.
Hi. I don't see a video, but that's your choice.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
No, I'm working on it.
You're not in your bathing. You're in your bathing suit today because of the nice weather.
Oh, I wish. I'm putting on my face. Oh my goodness, I'm still in my glasses and everything. But I'm looking forward to the meeting, so that's great.
Yeah, well, I was kind of late with posting it, but I thought, it's a very spontaneous thing because here, Lisa, where are you located, by the way?
Lisa? I'm up in Newmarket.
Oh, Newmarket. Okay. Yeah. So it's a very it's a very pretty day here in Southern Ontario. And of course, a lot of people are going outside, and, this whole COVID-19 is a time to go outside and scream from the rafters. Like yesterday, I had a bit of a party day, and because I was feeling so stressed and so cooped up that I went to the local cannabis store and I picked up myself some pot, and I just thought, you know what, I need to do a little bit of celebrating and see how much fun it is to smoke pot and still stay on my journey. And
that's right.
Yeah, so just relax, and it certainly helped and de-stressed me because the one thing that I've noticed now that I'm past the 2-year mark. How far along are you, Lisa? When did you have the surgery?
I had surgery October 23rd, so I'm just about 6 months or so.
Okay, so you're a rookie as well, so that's great.
Yeah, rookie. Yeah.
Yeah, Jolene is having her surgery at the end of this month.
Oh, good news, Jolene.
And are you having a VSG or sleeve, Jolene?
The bypass, the gastric bypass.
Bypass. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so today's topic, of course, I wanted to talk about the self-control exercising muscle. Hey, Veronica in Mississauga, thank you for coming. Veronica is also, I think, 6 months out, right? Yeah, your microphone's off. You have to turn your microphone on, Veronica. Yes. Yeah. 6 months ago. Yeah. So Jolene is having her surgery at the end of this month, and she's having the bypass. So it's going to be a very exciting time. And how long have you been on a waiting list, Jolene, to have your surgery?
I wasn't on a waiting list. Like I said, I was supposed to have it back in March, but here in Wisconsin, things got shut down, and they canceled all non-essential surgeries. And I was one of the first people they called because they actually canceled my surgery about a week and a half before it was supposed to happen. So yeah.
And the surgery is covered by your private health insurance, or you're paying cash or something like that?
My health insurance is going to cover it.
Right. Well, I myself started the whole journey, as everybody knows, at 450 pounds, but my surgery weight was 375. And I had sleeve surgery, and I had no choice because it's here in Ontario, it's the surgeon that decides what type of surgery you're going to have. You can't choose if you have the sleeve or the bypass or VSG, Roux-en-Y. So yeah, so the thing is, we had to be on a liquid diet. Are you on a liquid diet right now, Jolene?
No, I'm not. My doctor wants me the week before surgery to be on basically a very, very low carb diet.
Oh, interesting. No, it's completely different, eh? Because the argument here is to make the surgery as safe as possible. We had to drink this liquid called OptiFast, and it is a medicated liquid that shrinks your liver, because the liver is located right on top of the stomach area, and they want to make the liver as small as possible to be able to get to the stomach while they're doing the surgery. So it's more for safety precautions. And they're so strict about the contents of your stomach when you have the surgery that there are people in the Ontario Bariatric Program that were actually refused surgery when they opened the patient up and found food in the stomach, that they closed them up again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
they want the liver smaller, and they are having me do the low carb, very low carb type, for that reason. So
right. Well, like as I mentioned, that today I wanted to talk about this article that I read, that I shared on my Facebook page as well, regarding the exercise muscle you use when you're trying to do self-control. So the self-control muscle. And basically, when we talked last week with Dr. Vera Tarman, she is a doctor that herself stopped eating sugar and flour more than 10 years ago and has lost 100 pounds. And this article talks about the cold turkey sort of technique of stopping to eat foods in its entirety that would trigger your response. So the example was you buy a bag of cookies and you have the cookies in your cupboard, and your brain is telling you want to eat the entire bag of cookies. Your fat brain, your obese fat brain is telling you that bag of cookies has to be emptied or I'm going to go crazy. And the interesting thing about the self-control thing is that if you're able to teach your brain how to take just one, there's somebody that's, maybe I can mute some of you guys because there's maybe Lisa, I don't know if you're moving around a bit or something.
Yep, sorry, I just was getting my video ready. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
No worries. That's
sorry
okay.
About that.
It just sounded like you were playing a game or something.
I just was trying to get it to stand up. So.
Oh, okay,
stand up. I'm not sure which is a better view here. There we go.
I bought one of those selfie sticks that has legs, and I just put my camera on.
Oh, nice. I should. Yeah, I'm just on my iPad because I can see everyone on my iPad and not on my phone. So I was like,
okay.
Sorry, ladies.
All right. Yeah, no worries. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, bag of cookies. So the idea in the article is, can you train your brain to just eat one cookie out of that bag of cookies? And the premise of the article is no. No, you can't. There's no way to untrain that self-control muscle. So the only way is to just not buy the cookies. And I don't think at my, for my journey, I don't think that's the route I want to take. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Like, because Dr. Tarman talks about complete cold turkey, cut out the sugar, cut out the flour. Well, yesterday, as I mentioned, I went to the pot store and I bought some pot and I had a joint. And of course I got the munchies, as you do. And I had one slice of Hawaiian pizza. My niece came over and we ordered pizza and I had one slice of Hawaiian pizza. Hawaiian pizza, by the way, Jolene, in Canada is bacon and pineapple and ham on a pizza. I don't know if they have that in the US, but it's called a Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, we have those too.
Okay. So I had one slice and my bariatric brain was blowing up like, oh my God, this is it. This is the end of my journey. I have fucked it up because I had a slice of pizza, because I associate pizza with the old Wendy that 3 years ago would have finished the entire pizza pie, right? And then after the pizza pie, I would go to Baskin Robbins and buy a container of ice cream. So that was the old Wendy. So retraining your brain to accept a normal portion of food is a whole new world. What do you think, Lisa?
I agree, because Hawaiian was my favorite as well. I just find now, I think I went into it thinking, oh, I could never have this again, or I can never have that again. And sugar was my choice of poison. But, you know, I have learned that you can have it. You just have to watch. So for the sugar content, for example, for cookies, I buy no sugar added cookies. And there's like 5 cookies for 1 gram of sugar. So that's how I deal with it. And I just have those instead. And so I just alter what I'm having. And for pizza, I just do whole wheat thin crust. And I haven't had the Hawaiian. I've more just stuck with like chicken with roasted red peppers and spinach, that kind of thing. But yeah. I only have maybe the 1 slice and a small size, so it's not very big.
Well, that's my niece, and all my nieces and nephews do not suffer from obesity at all. So the gene did not continue on in our family, which is also a myth. Like once an obese family, always an obese family. No, not true in our family, at least anyway. So my niece pointed out to me this morning, she said, Wendy, eating a slice of pizza is even healthier than having a bowl of cereal. So it's not an unhealthy food group. You know, you can choose a good quality pizza as well. Like here on Church Street, there's a pizza place called Brooklyn Pizza or something. It's something from New York. And apparently it's a very good, high quality pizza with thin crust and very healthy ingredients, and not ingredients that come out of a tin, as in the case of Pizza or Pizza Nova. So Veronica, what about you? What do you think about this topic?
Well, I would like to work towards that goal. However, at this point, I know I can't do it. I have to stick to what Dr. Tarman had spoken about. I find if I go like a week without any carbs, like the sugar, which is my problem, I can have 1 slice. I can stop myself at 1 serving the first day after not having it for a while. But if I have consecutive days, it comes to a point where I keep craving it. I can't stop myself. Right now, I can't have the whole pizza because of, I had the sleeve in December, but my old self would have had the whole pizza. So right now I cannot, that muscle doesn't work for me. I can't stop it afterwards.
No.
So I either have to go cold turkey, or if I try a piece on a special occasion or whatever of something that it's my problem, like a pastry or pizza, then the following day, I know I cannot go there because I will not be able to stop. I can stop on the first day, but not if I have it, you know, too many days in a row. Yeah. That addiction is still very strong.
Yeah, it is. And it is a addiction, and that's something that we all have to, at least I have to recognize myself, that I have a certain tendency for a food addictive person. Jolene, what's your food of choice? What is your biggest love and joy late at night when you're watching and snacking in front of the TV?
I think I have entirely too many, but it's basically anything carb.
Yeah.
You know, chips or chocolate, or, you know, even like comfort food like mac and cheese, or, you know, like pizza. It doesn't really matter as long as there's a lot of carbs in it.
Yeah. Well, carbs are a huge friend. They're a drug as well, and it's the sugar in the carbs. I had mac and cheese for the first time in 2 years just this week. I bought one of those frozen mac and cheese from M&M's, and I must say the old Wendy, and I'm trying to always sort of not justify, but try and see, okay, this is a 1 portion tray. It's like this big, right? And the old Wendy used to buy 2 of them and eat 2 of them. And so I add some protein to the mac and cheese tray, and that filled me up. And it was like, okay, I had the mac and cheese. I looked on the container. 1 small container is 450 calories. And when you put the container in a bowl, it's only half of the bowl. So it's just a little bit more than a cup of mac and cheese. And it's still 450 calories. And, you know, going back to the six month point of your after post surgery, when you're tracking your calories and how many calories you're eating a day, it's usually between 800 and 1,000 calories, and that's it. So if you have 1 meal of mac and cheese, it's 450 calories. You don't have very many calories left for the rest of the day. And that's, you know, we've been reading over and over again that in order for your body to work properly, you have to give it gas 3 times a day, 3 meals a day. If you don't give it the gas or food 3 times a day, your metabolism slows down and your body stops working. So getting into the habit of eating 3 meals a day, Jolene, was the hardest thing for me to do, because I never, ever ate breakfast, because I always just would have a cup of coffee, and then I would have a late lunch and a giant dinner, and then be snacking for hours late at night in front of the TV. So, Veronica, what sort of things are you eating 6 months out now?
Well, the reason I have the sleeve is because I have a hernia that compromises my intestines. So I have to, I can't have anything with high fiber or meats, because that automatically causes problems with my hernia.
Right.
So I'm focusing more on, I have cucumber, I have cheese, I have eggs, I have tuna. Basically, that's I switch it around and I add a few things, but basically that's what I'm having, at least this month. I cannot have smoothies because the air in the blender will cause pain with my hernia. So I'm very limited at this point. So
yes. It's it's very, the different stages that you go through post surgery. At the 6 month stage is when I was able to take part in the mindfulness based eating program, and during that program they were introducing all sorts of foods that I had not touched for 6 months, including sugar and chocolate and mac and cheese. And all of these foods were introduced into this course. So the purpose of the course is how to live the rest of your life with these trigger foods, and whether or not you choose that you're going to completely cancel them out for the rest of your life, or try and find a way to exercise that muscle of self-control, because we're not normal people, right? We have an eating disorder. Lisa, what do you think?
I think the same. I'm eating basically the same things that Veronica's eating, and then in addition, I try new things. So I've been doing shrimp and I do fish, like. And I was speaking actually yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the day before, maybe it was Friday, to my dietitian, my 6 months check-in. And she told me to add in some legumes like lentils and black beans and chickpeas into my salads and stuff like that. Because I'm eating salads now, which I was very happy to be able to eat fresh things finally.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything so far, knock on wood, is everything that I've eaten and tried, I've agreed with. So I guess in a way it's good, and sometimes it's kind of, makes you nervous because you're thinking, oh, if I can eat everything that I had before, how will I keep that control under, check? But I've been doing it, and I think I'm down 100 pounds. So that kind of encourages me. And I try on all kinds of clothes, and not necessarily the pounds that came off, but my inches, were really good. Like I'm, wearing things that I never thought I would. And I think I went from like a 5X down to a size 10 stretch jean. So that's pretty good incentive for me to stick with things.
You went from a 5X to a 10?
Yeah, in 100 pounds. Yeah. I must have a tinier waist than I do hips and everything, but yeah. And I went down in a lot. I tried on my husband's clothes, and he's only like 149 pounds, and he's like, stop trying on my things. I'm like, but listen, it's the only thing small enough in here that I can try on to see if I can fit. And as a joke, I did it to put it on, and it actually fit me. So I was almost crying.
And I hope you took a picture of it too. Have you been keeping a photographic history?
Oh, you're darn tootin' I did.
Yeah, yes. Very, very important. Jolene, yes. It's very important you take pictures. Lots of before pictures and after pictures, because I'm using them now in the 2-year mark to keep me motivated. Because your stomach will motivate you for the first 8 months post-surgery. For the first 8 to 10 months, your stomach tells you when you're full. But after 2 years, your stomach doesn't tell you anymore when you're full. And that's something they don't talk about in our bariatric program. Veronica, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask Lisa what kind of surgery she had, and is she in Ontario?
Yeah, I'm in Newmarket, and I had my RNY in down at Humber Hospital in October, end of October. So in the beginning, I lost a lot, and I think on the Optifast, I lost like 15 right away, but I stuck right to it. Like I literally didn't have, except for water, I didn't have anything except for the shakes, the 4 days. And to me, that was the easiest, because a lot of people complain about it, but it was the easiest to I had to do it for 3 weeks because I was quite heavy. So I had to do it for 3 weeks, but it was the easiest because to me, I was full after the shakes, and they were just, all I had to think about was just the shake. So, and I had all kinds of different flavors, the different skinny syrups or whatever to put in it.
Yeah,
for different
flavors. I did the same thing. I bought every flavor at Winners for my
me too.
But Jolene was telling us that with her surgery, she doesn't have to take any liquid diet. She's having her surgery at the end of this month.
Oh, that's lucky. Yeah, very lucky. I had to do it, and I didn't mind it. Some people mind it. My surgery buddy couldn't stand it, and she hated it. And also she doesn't have a good tolerance to whey. So even after surgery, she wasn't able to have the Premier Protein shakes, and I still do them. They were telling me, and actually one thing I want to just pop in on is, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, 6 months out, every time I speak to someone at my 3 month, whatever, 6 month, whatever check-in, I get different conflicting answers from everyone. Every single person, they'll tell you, oh, you need 2 shakes for 10 months after surgery. And the other one will say, oh, you only need 1. And it's not consistent information. So when you go on the groups, I kind of tend to lean towards what people are saying in the groups, because that's more consistent with more people rather than each dietitian tells me something different, and they're not always friendly. Yesterday, Friday, I had a really nice lady. I know that's mean, right? But I had one nice lady that I've had since the first time since I had surgery, and I'm like, Karen, you know, you're so kind to me and so nice and treat me with respect and dignity and just, you know, really full of good information and just told me, you know, what to add in like a balanced diet. So just starches, make sure you have that little bit of starch, that little bit of, you know, meat and the veggies. And I've just been sticking to it. I mean, honestly, because you know, the weight loss helps because when you see it in the inches, not even the weight loss because I have stalls all the time. Yeah. And the only other side effect I had was really severe constipation for like the first 5.5 months. So I'm just finally getting over that, which is nice. But yeah, I still do 1 shake a day just to help me get that extra 30 grams in because, you know, I don't feel hungry. Like you said, Wendy, I don't feel hungry yet. So I'm riding that wave as long as it lasts.
Yeah.
But I tend
the bariatric honeymoon. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So in the first year post-surgery, I was super diligent with using my app, tracking every single piece of food, weighing every single piece of food and putting it in my app. And the app was the Bible that I would look at and make sure I got the protein, got in the carbs, got in the whatever I need. Because indeed, every nutritionist, of course, has different opinions. And like I was one that didn't eat breakfast cereal, whereas the nutritionist said, oh yeah, you can have breakfast cereal. I'm like, no, I'm not going to have breakfast cereal. I'm just going to have yogurt. And at the beginning, it was cottage cheese, you know, so the cottage cheese is higher in protein. But I did buy a case of the Premier Protein not too long ago at Costco, and half of it's still in my fridge. So I don't really drink the stuff anymore. I don't know. I just feel like I do have enough protein in my body, but I must completely admit that I have not been tracking my food as diligently on my app in the last, say, COVID-19 period. Me too. And the COVID-19 is this quarantine, it's working havoc on the brain, the fat brain, for sure. And you actually, Jolene, you have a huge advantage by having your surgery at this time, because we're going to be stuck in the COVID-19 lockdown for at least another 6 months, I'm sure. And so the fact that you're going to be dealing with a stomach that will not take any food, and you won't be able to eat, and you won't be hungry either, that is a great source that you're going to be using.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you? How is your family? Is your family supporting you? Your friends supporting you with your surgery?
Yeah, my family is supportive. Most of my friends are super excited for me. I have one friend that's a little thinking there's other ways to go about the weight loss.
Yeah. We've all had those friends.
But it basically, he knows that I've made the decision and I'm going to do it. And so has basically been like, well, just let me know what you need. And so even though he's not in favor of it, is not being a jerk all
and
around.
What do you weigh right now, if you don't mind asking?
347.
Yeah. Okay. So you're definitely gonna have a fantastic ride for sure. Mm-hmm. And having the Roux-en-Y or the bypass, you'll have a larger weight loss than I did at the sleeve. Like I basically hit a wall, and I cannot get under 220. And but I started at 450. And so my goal was originally to get into Wonderland, and I have tried everything and anything to get past this wall, and I've been at this wall for a year. So I've only lost 10 pounds in 1 year, and I've lost all the weight in the first year. So it's definitely a maintenance stage that I'm in right now. And so the learning of the self-control muscle is what basically I'm concentrating on now, because there are things that have crept back into my house, and I have a little bit of popcorn, I have a little bit of chocolate, I had 1 slice of pizza. So life goes on, but you don't want to regain what you've lost. And that's the biggest number one fear of every weight loss surgery patient. Mm-hmm. Have you had any, and so Lisa and Veronica, you both just had weight loss for the last 6 months, and you're going to continue having that.
I started at 350, and I lost 30 pounds on I had Slim Fast, yeah, or Slim Time, one of those, and for 4 weeks. And that's when I lost about 35 pounds just on that liquid diet. Yeah. And then since my I was 310 at surgery, and now I'm at, I was at 255. And this week I went up a bit, and that's again because I'm getting bored with the food. I rely on the protein powder to make up the 75, 80 grams of protein that I'm still counting because I can't have the meat. And
you can't have meat?
No, because of my hernia, not because of,
okay.
My intestines get clogged. So, and I had a big argument with one of the dietitians because following what she told me to do, I ended up in hospital. Yeah, so that's why I rely on the Premier Shakes to make up my protein. And if I'm low in protein, then I do feel that I crave the food that I shouldn't be having. Yeah. So yeah. So now I'm kind of in a stall this week, but I find that as soon as I cut out carbs, it hits me like I go down again. And when I do have carbs, I get bloated. So I do have some kind of reaction. It's not that I'm unconsciously doing low carb or keto or anything like that. It's just that's how my body reacts. So, but I'm happy with my weight loss because by now, yeah, I'm close to 100-pound weight loss, and I know that I can notice that I'm getting hungrier than I used to, and I can take more calories than I used to. So I'm worried about that, but you know, trying to keep it under control. Anybody having trouble with water? Like just keeping the amount of water?
Yeah, or remembering to drink it. Yeah, I mean, I have it in front of me everywhere, but I don't always remember.
I have these bottles everywhere in my house. I have like 4 of them in every room. And I add this lemonade flavoring from Country Time that's sugar-free. So it just feels like I'm drinking lemonade all day long. And I find that I got the water in more if I'm sipping it through a straw type kind of thing. So by just drinking it, I don't drink as much because it feels too full when I right after my surgery. So, and the whole myth of all of our nutritionists, by the way, Jolene said, do not use a straw, you know, and it's like, I'm using a straw, lady. I'm sorry, I'm using a straw. So this way I found the water getting in more. So at my desk, beside my bed, outside on the balcony when I'm reading, I have my water bottles everywhere. I don't walk around the house with a water bottle. I just want to have a water bottle ready to go wherever I sit in the house.
So what's your your daily intake? How many?
I usually finish 3 of these.
And those are what, 500 mils, like a water bottle size?
No, it's a bit bigger than a water bottle. It's about 750, I think.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. So that, and I just drink water from the tap, and I just add the flavoring, the Country Time little flavor things that you just squeeze it in, and that I end up drinking all day long. Yeah.
That's really good. They told me to drink 1.5 liters to 2 liters.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of my constipation issue. Obviously, it was. I try to do it, and I, like you, I have all kinds of flavorings. I have anything from the sugar-free Kool-Aid with all kinds of like pineapple, grape, even grape and orange tang, all those different ones, Mios, coconuts, you know, anything flavored. And sometimes, and I also drink the water with ice, which they said some people's stomachs don't tolerate the really cold or really hot items, but I seem to be okay with that. So I put lots of ice sometimes if I'm drinking just water, plain by itself with no flavorings, because I find you get sick of flavorings sometimes. So I kind of have to do just water. But I'm like you, Wendy, I put one in every room, and then that way it's there and I see it. And it's supposed to encourage me to do it and stuff. And, you know,
it's
like
also,
watermelon's good for you.
Yeah, but also it's sugar.
Yeah,
sugar and watermelon.
Natural sugar though, so it's not too
natural,
bad.
Yeah, it's a natural sugar with fruits is definitely a good choice for sure. But I really don't know. You know, from the beginning, it's this nutritional binder that we got. And by the way, Jolene, if you want a copy, it's on my Finding Wendy website. It's a PDF. You can download it. Okay. This nutritional guideline that we got, basically there was just maybe 1 or 2 pages of post-diet meal examples, but they just gave like a breakdown of how many carbs, how much protein you should have. And it was just basically the first 6 weeks that they showed us exactly what we had to eat. And then after 6 weeks is like, you're on your own.
Oh, really?
And like this one? Is that the one, Wendy, that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Well,
different hospital, but
it's the Ontario Bariatric Program binder. Let me see if I have.
Okay, so mine's a surgical program one, but they've got some guidelines and basic stuff, and also the vitamins. They were always making sure that you were getting your vitamins, not to miss any, because that's really super important. If anything,
this is the one.
Don't forget your vitamins. Oh, okay, so it's very similar to mine.
Yeah. So. So the sample food journal, let me see. So let me go to
the one that has the different calories, 1,000 calories or 1,500.
Yeah, day 1, eating after. So we'll go weeks 5 to 9, soft diet. Let's see, page 83.
This is what they gave me for an example. Soft diet.
Okay, so example soft diet day 1, breakfast, ricotta cheese, 1/4 cup. Oh my God, I can't even imagine just eating a 1/4 cup. So 1/4 cup of ricotta cheese, 1/4 cup of peaches, 1 tablespoon of bran flakes. Then you have your morning snack, protein shake. And then for lunch, you would have 1/2 cup of bean soup, 1 string cheese, 1 Melba toast. And then afternoon snack would be a small container of yogurt. Dinner would be 2 ounces of chicken, 1/4 cup of mashed potato, 2 tablespoons of vegetables. And the evening snack would be a tuna pita. So you're eating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, these small meals. And this diet, the interesting thing about this binder, and this is something that I discovered afterwards, it's basically a Roux-en-Y diet, because the sleeve, first of all, you don't have dumping syndrome. And second of all, you are able to eat larger portions than the Roux-en-Y, the bypass. And so just looking back at the portion size, for me, is a huge wake-up call for me right now, because my portion sizes are much bigger now. Like a 1/4 cup is not very much food at all. So the biggest reason why there is so much weight loss in your first year is your portion size.
Yeah. Wendy, I remember, I don't know if it was on one of your videos, recently because you were stuck at 220, which is a huge weight loss from your start point. But you mentioned about, because we've had the sleeve, that the option of having the Roux-en-Y is still there. Is that something that you are considering?
Not at this point, no, because as you know, I had this huge hip replacement surgery experience with 3 surgeries on the same hip, because it kept on getting infected. Like right now, I have so much hanging skin on my stomach from my 450-pound self. The hanging skin is more, an issue that I need to address than having a revisal surgery, a Roux-en-Y surgery. Because of the hanging skin, because the skin is hanging to my knees on my stomach. So having a panicular surgery, which is covered by our Ontario health care system, we don't have to pay for it, is something I may consider down the road. But apparently, in order to qualify for the surgery, you have to have been the same weight for over a year. And I think you have to be a certain BMI as well.
Well, Wendy, you know, last weekend was that Spring Fling, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So they have those videos still on the video file of the one of our groups.
Yeah.
And there's that one where a plastic surgeon speaks.
Yeah.
And he talks about having the panulectomy, whatever, which is the excess skin removal, not quite being a tummy tuck. It's just whatever OHIP covers. And he said most surgeons will not, he doesn't know of any surgeons that will do it for what OHIP pays them, because they don't get paid enough. So that's why they push you to combine the surgery with another one that they will charge for. Otherwise, it's not worth their time. So there's quite a bit of information on those videos from surgery clinics.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing that I learned from having the panicular surgery, if you have it covered by OHIP, is that they will not rebuild your belly button.
Yeah, some don't. Yeah, I read.
And I don't know. I think it's weird to be looking down at your stomach and there's no belly button.
But it's a $10,000 belly button.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd rather not have one than pay $10,000 for it.
It's true.
I'll tattoo it.
You can tattoo a belly button on. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know, it's a whole different mindset. Oh, here are my wings. Yeah, I have lots and lots of loose skin.
You might be in Wonderland then.
Well, oh no, I have 30 pounds of skin. I know that. I know I am in Wonderland for sure, because I have 30 pounds of hanging skin on my body. So, you know, for my height, because I'm only 5'3", I should weigh about 150 pounds. And so if you add 30 pounds, it's like 180. So I'm, you know, my original goal was to get to about 180 was my goal, but that's been smashed to all hell because I can't get past
might be there.
The wall.
Without the skin, you might be there already.
Yeah, I know.
Well, if you find a surgeon that will do the panulectomy, let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
I will get there eventually because mine is the same. You know, it's really bad. It hangs to my knees. So, and I'm not even at my goal weight yet. So.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching this this guy that lost weight by dieting and exercise. His name is Obese to Beast on YouTube. And he does all his exercises with his shirt off, and he shows all his loose skin. He weighed like 400 pounds, 450 pounds, and now he weighs like 160 or 170. And he's got huge amount of hanging skin, and you can see his entire six-pack underneath the skin that's hanging. And he, I don't know if he's going to have skin removal surgery. Eventually he will, probably. But it's a really very, he's very open about it, which I think is so amazing that he's showing the world that these are his scars, his hanging skin from having been over 400 pounds for, you know, all his life. Have you been always overweight, Jolene?
Not as a kid or a teenager, no.
And in your family, are there other people in your family that are obese or overweight?
My dad has been obese the entire time I've been in his life. Yeah. My mom dealt with obesity when I was little, but when I was a kid, but is now at a healthy weight and has maintained that for many, many years. My sister is overweight. I have aunts and uncles who are overweight. Yeah, it's kind of a family thing for us.
And what about you, Lisa?
I have both sides of my family, mom and dad's side, both have a little bit of weight. My mother was probably maybe, well, yeah, the one of the heaviest, but I mean, she's older now. She's almost 70, so she's kind of got still, I guess, the apple shape that they call us. And, you know, she's got very skinny legs, but she's always been very competitive with me about it. And that was always hurtful, always giving me her fat clothes, whatever. And now I'm giving her mine. So now it's the roles are reversed. But I mean, my highest was 301 when I started the surgery. So just the week that I started Optifast was 301. Now I'm 201, but I did hit Wonderland for a day. May as well have been the real Wonderland because that's how long it lasted. And I mean, it was only the day, and then I gained 2, and then I find also my monthly cycle time, I still get that. So that's, I gain at least 2-3 pounds on that, just weight from bloating or whatever it is. Yeah. So I went up actually 4.5 pounds in the past week and a half. And then now I'm back down and lost the 4.5 in the past week. So it just fluctuates big time, but I would like to get to the Wonderland and stay in there. But it's coming. And I mean, I'm only 5'2". So when I went for, basically the surgery was because I had gone to a vein doctor because I had massive swelling in my left leg. My ankle was like so puffy, I couldn't even wear shoes. They'd done various tests over the years, and it turned out to be that the vein doctor said, your veins seem clear, everything's fine, you're just heavy, basically, because he said, how tall are you? And I said, well, at the time I was 5'3", but I've lost an inch for whatever reason. And he said, well, at 5'3", you should be 113 pounds. I'm like, 113 pounds? Yikes. I go, I haven't been that since I was in like grade 7. So no, that seems unrealistic to me.
No,
but I mean, it's an average of, they go by height and whatever. So I always just thought I was big boned until I actually lost the 100 pounds. And I'm like, I'm under there somewhere. Like I really didn't, you know, even my wrists were big, and I've even lost weight on my wrists. I mean, it's crazy where you lose it. I was carrying it everywhere. I wasn't just carrying it like, I mean, I have most of it around my abdominal area, but you know, some people it's in a certain spot, but mine was everywhere. I mean, I look back now, like you said, Wendy, at photos, I didn't take a specific before and after surgery photo because I had so many of my heavy photos that I didn't want to even remember. In fact, some of them I didn't even keep because I was so embarrassed that I let myself go so far. And then now I look at now and I'm thinking, wow, like I really didn't realize, because when you look down, you know, you can see it, what you see, but you don't realize what's behind you. Because I mean, I used to have to move the car seat, or like the seat in the car for my husband and I. He's 149 pounds. He'd have to move way up, and I'd have to move it way to the very last spot. And now I don't have to move it at all, even though I'm still only, you know, 200.6 pounds. I still am down enough that I'm wearing his jeans. So the weight is everywhere. Although my chest went from probably, I'm not sure what the American sizes are, but my size was 42 triple D, and now I'm down to like a 38D, almost a 36. So it was a big jump, and I carried it everywhere. So it's kind of come off from everywhere. But that hitting that Wonderland was such a big thing. And my surgery buddy, she found in the past month, at least almost 2 months, she's been super hungry all the time. And so she didn't know how to deal with that. And she ended up doing some occasional keto. And she found the keto diet helped her to feel more full and more satisfied without eating big portions, but just it made her feel a little more fulfilled. So like you, I haven't been tracking steadily in the past since this COVID business came. I mean, I've been home, but I've just been, I don't know why, I just kind of think, oh, I know what it weighs, or I know what the portion size looks like. And I've just been kind of not entering it, but I think I should, because it helps me keep track of the protein level, if anything else. So that's something that I need to.
I'm not quite sure on the data as why as we have to eat, make sure that we get our protein in. So I think it's something to do with the metabolism of your body, that your body needs the protein. And that's why with that particular diet that you see a huge weight loss. But
it's for muscle, to prepare your, like, keep your muscle while you're losing fat at the same time. That's why that's what they told me anyway.
Sure.
So
but I mean, about that.
Yeah, but it's a thing. Like I didn't really do the keto. I don't know how keto is long term. I don't like the idea of high fat all the time, because that seems to me to be pretty high. And so, you know, I don't worry about that too much. I'm just more trying to remember, like you said, to get back on track for hi Lynn, for trying to get on track again with tracking, because tracking is really big. I didn't really think about it, and I think, oh, I'm fine, you know, but it actually does help. So Jolene, when you actually do it, if you keep track of what you're eating, even though you're eating in the beginning, like Wendy said, small amounts, and yeah, in the beginning we lose a lot because you're going to notice it really drastic because it's such a small portion. I mean, when we go to a restaurant, we were eating the platter of food that they gave us.
Yeah.
And now when you go and you're eating, you know, your little thing, you're thinking, how am I going to sustain my body on this little amount of food? But you really do. And you do. You really, and you feel full. I think when I'm getting full, in the beginning, I felt like I was getting a runny nose. Even though I wasn't hungry or didn't feel full, I could tell because my nose would run a little. Or I would have, now I noticed it changed, and now I get like a phlegmy sensation if I get to that portion where I'm trying, because I was supposed to increase my portion. I was doing a quarter cup for, I think, 4 or 5 months. And I was scared to stretch. Yeah, I was scared to stretch my pouch. I was so scared. I didn't even want to drink large amounts of water at once, even though the water basically goes right through. It doesn't actually stop and, you know, swell. But I was so scared to, after being obese for 25 years, I didn't want to stretch it back out after going to the drastic measure of having the surgery. And I learned that under eating can cause stalls as well. So that's what I had. I had a lot of stalls, and I still do occasionally. And like you, I was stuck at the 220 for forever. I think for, you know, weeks and weeks, and it felt like forever. And then finally I just thought, you know, go back to weighing my food, making sure that I'm getting that. And I still was under. I wasn't quite getting my 2-3 ounces. And I thought, oh man. So it's more in visually than I thought. So I found that helped me get through a stall. Was just increasing. It sounds like you're thinking, how can you eat more and lose weight? But it's true. And eat healthy, obviously good choices, but more food, because your body needs it. So the protein just helps with keeping that you don't lose your muscle while you're losing all your fat to go with it. And I have some hanging skin, mostly on my arms, upper arms, and I do have a little bit of belly, but it doesn't hang past the private parts, which they say OHIP would cover the surgery skin removal. So that's just going to be something that I'll have to, you know, fit with some kind of Spanx or something, I guess, to get through it for a little while until I'm past that 2-year mark where they say surgery. After 2 years, they recommend the surgery if you want it. So the arms probably would be something I would probably try, and maybe not a tummy tuck necessarily, because that's pretty pricey, quite a lot of money actually. So I'm okay with just removing the skin. I don't need to have, you know, necessarily everything super locked up in 6-pack-ish. I don't need to have that, but I just definitely I'm self-conscious about it, because I think if I'd had it 20 years ago or 15 years ago, I would have bounced back more. But now, because I'm 47, you know, the skin's not going to recover. Like I see some of them, they've lost 100 and they're like, ding, and it's like, wow, what happened? They just went back like it never happened. It was like a bad allergy reaction, and it went down. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so lucky, right?
Sorry, yeah, it's my neighbor coming in. It's my dog.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's just something I'm not going to bounce back from, but I'm going to just eventually take care of it, because I think the arms are something that everyone kind of sees more. You can hide other things, but you know, I used to wear things really baggy. Like I would probably wear a 6X or a 5X if I only needed a 4, because I just was self-conscious. I didn't want to see the rolls, you know what I mean? And I go to heavy clothing stores, and I would see the sales lady, and they're like, oh, that's way too big, try something like this. And I'm thinking, yeah, but I don't want to look like the Michelin Man, you know, I don't want to see all those rolls, every roll that I own. I don't want to see that, and I don't think anyone else does either. So I guess I would prefer walking around like a tent.
Yeah, I just, by the way, welcome, Lynn. And if you want to unmute yourself and tell us just shortly a little bit about your journey, how long ago you've had your surgery, if you've had surgery, and.
I had surgery. I had an RNY back in October of 2017, and I've lost about 170 pounds.
Oh, great. And where are you located, Lynn?
I am in southern United States.
Right. Jolene is also in the U.S. She's up in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I lived in Wisconsin for 6 years.
Okay. I live by Madison.
We had a little bit of, sorry, go ahead.
I lived in northern Wisconsin. I have a southern accent because I've been down here for a long time.
Yeah. I find I've heard little different stories about why you have that the Southern Americans have a kind of twangy sound, and I heard something about it's related to the fact that so many Southerners spoke French. So I'm just wondering if you knew or heard, Lynn, from anybody why there is a.
Nah. I just have never been curious. I just, when I first moved to Mississippi, I was looking for a job and I was getting directions for this job interview from the employment agency. I had to ask 3 times for them to repeat the directions because I couldn't understand them. Now I understand with the best.
Yeah. Interesting. It's probably also just an auditory thing that your ear is picking up a certain dialect and that you just repeat. Like I'm a professional musician, so I repeat a sound on an instrument over the years to, you know, to make my sound on my instrument sound better. So it could also be because it's very interesting in Canada, just to speak about Canadians, there's no real difference between the dialect of somebody that is from Nova Scotia or somebody that's from Vancouver, and yet there are like 8,000 or 9,000 kilometers in between, whereas in the US you have so many different dialects. But we digress. We're talking about weight loss. So Lynn, you had your surgery 3 years ago, your bypass surgery, you said?
Yeah.
And what was your starting weight?
I started at 331 and I'm 5'2".
All right. And what do you weigh today?
I weigh about 160.
And did you?
I got down in the 120s, and I've
120. Wow.
So I really want to get back down into the at 120, whatever it was. I was too thin.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back into the 130s though.
Well, we were just talking about loose skin, and I'm 60 years old, and we were, you know, it might be a mindset, but Lisa was just talking about how she may down the road have skin removal surgery for the skin hanging on her arms or whatever. Now, do you have, you obviously have a lot of hanging skin, but
let me say, I've got the bat wings.
Yeah, you got the bat wings. So have you ever, I wonder if it's an age thing that the older you are, the less you know, you want to think about having skin removal surgery.
I'm 68, going on 69. And my feelings about having plastics is that if it improved the quality of my life, I would go for it. But it won't. It'll just be another surgery to recover from.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the R&Y improved the quality of my life. It was worth getting surgery at the age of 65. Yeah. But I just don't know that, you know, would I like to get rid of the bat wings? Do I wish that they would just magically disappear? Yeah, but, you know, I can live with it. I just look at it as a sign of my success.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar to me. I mean, I think that my quality of life would improve if I did have the skin removed on my stomach, the panty surgery, because it's hanging to my knees. And when I actually walk, my thighs hit the skin as I'm walking. So
most of my loose skin has ended up on my arm and in my breast. And I mean, I've got some overhang on my stomach, but it's not horrific. So I can live with it. You know, I can hide it in my pants. It's not a big deal.
Well, that's, so that's interesting. So your mindset, what you just said, it's not a big deal. So it's something that for younger bariatric patients. Jolene, how old are you?
45.
Okay. Yeah. So, and Veronica, how old are you?
I'm 56.
56, okay. So Veronica, would you consider like weight plastics?
Well, I agree with Lynn, only if it would improve the quality of life.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't care about aesthetics as much. It
Right.
was basically because I had the sleeve because I was having difficulty keeping my balance and walking. I was waddling more. And now that I've lost close to 100 pounds, I can walk a lot better.
Yeah.
However, like you said, my skin is hanging to my knees. So I'm careful to wear cotton and something that won't cause a rash, because that, when it happens, it's hard to stop. So that's the
underneath the fold, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something I have to always watch out too, because it is a dark, moist crevice of skin between that's hanging off your stomach, and that to keep that clean and make sure it doesn't get a rash. Yeah, that's a huge thing. And I found after
I shower, I put something cotton without any color, like a white cotton cloth, to make sure it gets to the very dry.
Yeah.
Then I remove it to get. So it is something, but I've had it for a very long time. So
it's one of the criteria that they talk about if you qualify for the surgery, if you do indeed suffer from that sort of thing of getting rashes under the skin, because the skin is hanging over the skin. And the same thing, I had huge breasts, and now they're just two deflated balloons on my chest. And but it's just, you know, or my empty white socks on my chest. But I just bought a better bra. That's a difficult thing to get to, is getting a proper bra, you know. And we there's a store here in Toronto that you can actually be fitted for a proper bra, but of course it's closed during COVID. But luckily I just bought 2 bras at Lane Bryant in New York online, and they've been holding out because I can't stand wires in my bra. And but that's a huge issue, is to find the proper fitting bra. And there's some weight loss patients that are wearing like Spanx and things like that. But the problem with Spanx, again, is that if you press the skin, the loose skin on your stomach, even harder onto your thighs, you're for sure going to get sweating, and that will turn into a rash.
Yeah, the bra thing would be an essential.
Overhang. I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
That's
Lynn.
okay, Lynn, go ahead.
My overhang isn't bad enough to cause those problems. I don't know why my stomach didn't, you know, because I was pretty huge. But I've not had that problem. If I did, I would pursue, you know, because you don't want to be cleaning out and having to worry about, you know, because you get those rashes and they start stinking and, you know, things like that. You know, that's hard to live with. And that's that's not aesthetics, that's practicality.
Oh yeah. So the whole issue of personal hygiene. I mean, of course, we've all been there. And me at super size 450 pounds, I couldn't clean myself properly. And that I couldn't reach spots, and that I had to have all sorts of gadgets to help me reach spots to clean properly. And so
my brother was very, very obese, and you know, regrettably, and I think the biggest tragedy about his weight, and what I love seeing people solve, is he was so obese that they could not do appropriate medical treatment with him because of the obesity. Right. And he died at the age of 52.
Oh dear.
Needlessly.
I'm sorry for your loss.
You know, so, and he almost had an opportunity to get a gastric bypass, and it fell through. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of, I look back at his life and the things that the obesity could have. Not being obese would have made his life so much better. I mean, it's just indescribable, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's hitting the nail on the head as far as the two choices of having skin removal surgery because of the aesthetics of it, or the fact that we've had the weight loss surgery to improve the quality of our life. And that for Jolene, who is having her surgery at the end of this month, and my neighbor is here, and Kyle, you can come and say hi to the girls, because Kyle was here 3 years ago, and he was an essential. This is Kyle. He's my best friend, and he can't hear you now because I have my headphones on, but he was here and he saw the struggles I had with being 450 pounds. And there's certain things that I still can't do, and he helps me around the house. But yeah, it's like living alone and being so obese that you physically can't clean yourself, you physically can't clean your house. It's the quality of life now compared to just 2.5 years ago is night and day.
I was on a walker when I had my surgery. So, and I haven't used a walker in, it's a plant maker outside my door now.
Yeah.
I left it on the porch and plants grow up through it. You know, I was like, well,
yeah.
It's a plant. Yeah. It's a planter now.
It's hilarious. I mean, I had the added issue with a completely disintegrated hip. So I was walking bone on bone. There was no more cartilage in my hip joint. So I had to have hip replacement surgery. And the hip replacement surgery completely took the second part of the quality of life improved. The fact that I can ride my bike, but my walking's still not the greatest. And that's because I have osteoarthritis in my spine. And I have this curvature in my back, and I'm trying to get it straight. And that's the fat person curvature thing. So that's, do you have a curvature in your back, Jolene?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I've also got I have a lot of back issues, but part of it's because I have a pars defect at L5. So you know how you've got your vertebrae, and then there's a butterfly shaped part. That's not attached, so that's what's called the pars defect. It's not attached on either side, so that vertebrae can move and shift a little bit because it doesn't have its stabilizer. And so I have that problem, but then I also, my knee is bad enough that if I didn't weigh what I weigh, they would have done a knee replacement. But they said you weigh too much, so we're not going to do it until you lose weight. And I was like, I can barely move around right now because it hurts so bad.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
I was doing triathlons 5 years ago, and
wow,
weighed about 100 pounds less than I weigh right now. And I was doing triathlon and injured my knee, and I had a torn meniscus, which they took care of, but then they did a few more things in there, and I've had just terrible knee pain ever since. And they won't do the surgery to help me get back down so I can be active like I was. So that's where this came in as an option for me.
But you're able to have the surgery when you lose 100, 150 pounds, and you're allowed to have the surgery.
Yeah, they would do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't do surgery, I went and had stem cell therapy done. So I'm not in nearly as much pain now with the knee. So I don't know if I would have the surgery or not. I guess we'll just have to wait.
So I'd say 1.5 years from now, or even a year from now, it will be very interesting talking to you, Jolene, because I can guarantee that you are going to become an athletic and enjoying athletic things again, and you are going to do very, very well, I think, because you have that already built into you, that you did enjoy it, the fact that you're doing triathlons. I have never exercised in my entire life. I have never been interested in exercising. Like I said, as a professional musician, my entire life is sedentary, sitting on my ass and playing my horn. And that I am not from an athletic.
You play that horn very well.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This last 4 years for me has been miserable because I've not been able to find relief from pain. Like, they wouldn't help me with my back because of my weight. And they kept saying, well, you're just trying to do too much, because I was still trying to do triathlon. And they're like, you're just trying to do too much. And I was only doing the short distance races, which was like a 1/4 mile swim or 400 yards.
Yeah, well, that's what they were saying at the beginning after our surgery. They always say, you know, the question was, when do I start exercising? And they all say, wait 6 months. Mm-hmm. And the main reason why, and I see this on Instagram and YouTube as well, I see these super obese people, like they're 400 pounds and they're in a gym with a trainer and they're working out with the trainer. I see this one woman, I follow this one woman on Instagram, and she's doing these crazy exercises. And I'm like, stop doing that. You are going to permanently damage your joints. If you're banging, jumping up and down and going and doing stuff on your legs, you're going to damage your hips or your knees. And I think it's just really irresponsible that you have these, you know, private trainers that are trying to like promote their own agenda and train with me and you lose weight. You know, we all know in the weight loss surgery community, you lose weight because of portion control, not because you are working out and burning 1,000 calories. No, that's not how you lose weight.
Well, and when you're losing weight and with the little amount that you're able to consume, it's not enough energy for you to be really exercising like that either, because you're not taking in enough to be able to fuel your body with that type of working out. And
it's true. It will trigger stalls. Your body will go into a stall because it's like, oh my God, you're spending so many calories on working out and I only get 600 calories a day. I'm going to stop. I'm going to start storing calories, and then you get a stall. You don't lose any weight. But more importantly, I mean, that can change, but you cannot undo damage to your joints unless they are replaced. And so you discovered that with your own experience with the triathlon, and you had to stop doing it. But it's just, you know, with me, with my hip replacement surgery, I'm very careful now with my joints. And that's why with low impact exercises that I'm doing with biking, that the biking certainly is a low impact sport. I'm burning calories, I'm getting outside. It's great for the mind and the mind therapy to just get outside and be active.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Joylene, is inside, it takes over 6 months to heal. Whatever, you know, surgery you have, it will take more than 6 months to heal. And you can get a hernia if you do any weight training or that will put pressure on that. You can do damage to surgery, or you can get, you know, other things like hernias. So
I tell you a little secret. I did not know if I had a hernia because of the amount of fat that was on my stomach, but I got a hernia. I have a hernia, but I'm suspecting whether or not I got the hernia from playing my horn too soon after I had the surgery, because there's a lot of pressure on your stomach that you use when you play the horn. And I'm wondering if I damaged my stomach after the surgery by playing my horn. And it was really only a week after my surgery that I played my horn. So
that is soon. Yeah.
It is very soon. So I might have created my own stupid mistake and I have this hernia. But the hernia doesn't hurt me at all. It doesn't affect my eating like it does with Veronica. Veronica, I was going to ask you, and you said you couldn't eat meat at all because of your hernia. So if you were to smash and pulverize meat like baby food, you still couldn't eat it?
It still doesn't go down. That's when my dietitian, when I was getting ready for surgery, and the dietitian was pushing me to get my protein from food, not from powder, I ended up in hospital, and the scan showed the hernia. I mean, there's different kinds of hernias. The one I have came from my appendix removal, and it was done laparoscopically. So where they went in right above the belly button, my intestines have found their way out and they get stuck there. So they can get strangled. If I eat something that pushes out, it won't come in. Like the intestine will go through that hole, that rupture, and that's when nothing will go down or up. It will just get stuck there. And meat is one of the things that will block me. So what they did at the hospital is they put me on a non-residue diet, they call it. And non-residue diet means no legumes, no vegetables, no fruit, mostly white flour. So they gained a lot of more weight through that. And now they won't touch my hernia until I lose more weight. So they said about a year after my surgery, so that would make it December, just to repair my hernia, right? So I know there's different kinds of hernias, because some people say they got their hernias fixed when they had their surgery. I guess if it's more like a hernia of the esophagus or I don't know, different kinds. But
I had a hiatal hernia repair.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. That's the kind, yeah. But the one I have, it's just the intestines are compromised, and they won't repair it until after I lose the weight. So.
My gosh.
Yeah.
It's hard too, because I know with Jolene saying she had knee pain from her injury, I have just a tiny bit of arthritis starting from the weight. So they told me if I lost the weight that I wouldn't have the pain. And at the time, I mean, I'd gone to a trip to Paris for 4.5 weeks, and walking was like just killer for me. Like my knee was puffed right out, like, and I was putting like Voltaren on there, and I was taking, I didn't know you couldn't have that and the I think it was like an arthritis Tylenol or something at the same time, but I was doing it anyway. That's how I got around. But I was limping everywhere. And then I was like a little bit on ibuprofen to help with the swelling. After I got to Italy, my aunt's like, what's wrong with your knee? And here, try this. And I was like, I don't know what it is about the Italian drugs, but woo, you know? I mean, I was like on Red Bull over there. I was like, wow, where was this when I was in Paris the whole time? But anyways, it was amazing. It took the swelling right down. I'm like, this is like crazy. Anyway, when I did lose the 100 pounds, even after 50 pounds, I could feel the difference. And, you know, knock on wood, I don't have the pain in my knee. I have arthritis. Obviously, when you have it, it will never go away, but it's actually really great. I don't ever suffer from it anymore. So the weight part of that, going to the vein doctor and having that swelling, like the ankle was like a like elephant ankle, like it was huge. Yeah. Only on the one side. And now I don't have that. I have the swelling went down, almost the swelling went down actually literally the day after surgery. I woke up and I'm like, where's my leg? Like it just disappeared. It was amazing. It was a good feeling.
To this day, when I look down at my feet, and I think my feet used to be these puffed up pillows. Yeah. And that I see my veins in the top of my feet all the time, and I never ever have swollen ankles at all. And I see veins in my hands, and I see veins in my feet, and that again, you know, these NSVs, these non-scale victories, but the quality of life is the big message with all of us that have experienced this. And the thing that came to mind, and I think that we're coming close to, you don't want to completely throw away our Sunday afternoon, what I was going to mention about remembering pain. Your body cannot remember pain, which is very interesting. So like, you know, when women have babies, I don't have kids, but they don't remember the pain they had having the child. So I remember the pain, but I don't remember how to feel the pain. Like when I would just stand in the kitchen for just 2 minutes to try to make myself some food, that my back hurt so much from this weight that was all in the front and pulling my back. And that I always walked like this, and I couldn't stand straight when I walked. And that pain of just standing for 2 minutes, like I was in a panic when I would, like I had a mobility scooter, I still use it. But if I went somewhere and I had to walk somewhere, I was in a panic to sit down because I was in so much pain. So I think the pain is something that is just the most liberating thing, that I don't have pain at all anymore in my body when I'm walking or when I'm doing whatever daily life, you know, and that is something, Jolene, that it will be a big, like, oh, moment for you after 6 months after your surgery. Yeah, your energy level, you can do way more. I mean, I had a funny thing happen. I was at my sister's a couple of weeks ago, and she put out some snacks on the table, and the table was kind of far, and I would have to stand up every time to go to get the snack. And she apologized for it. She said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm asking you to stand up every time to just get another cracker and a bit of hummus." I said, "No, it's fine." And then afterwards, I helped to clean it up and bring it back in the house because we were in their front yard. And she was shocked. She was like, "Oh my God, Wendy, you've never helped me ever. In all the years I know you, you've never gotten up and helped me put away the stuff back in the kitchen." So yeah, your energy level goes up and things like that.
That's really great. That's great, Wendy.
It is absolutely liberating to not be in pain anymore.
Yeah.
I can imagine that it would be.
Yeah.
It will happen because I had bad knees and bad feet. In fact, my joke is I have arthritis in more joints than I don't have. It'd be a shorter list just to tell you which ones I don't have arthritis in.
Right.
You know.
So but you won't have to lose a ton of weight. Like you won't have to lose like 100 before you feel that. You'll feel it after even 50 pounds. You'll feel the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Like I didn't have to lose the whole thing before I started feeling great, and my energy levels through the roof. Like I can notice, like, even simple things like Wendy said, standing still used to hurt. Like doing dishes killed my back. Now I can do it for like an hour and it doesn't bother me. Or I used to be able to not. My husband's skinny, so he always did the vacuuming and the mopping and all that. And I mean, if I did it, I went purple and I had to like stop after like 15, 20 minutes because I'd be like just dying. Now I can do like 2-3 hours straight and not even stop, and I barely get pink. So that's nice.
Walking around, being out of breath, just walking from my bed to the bathroom, I would be out of breath. So anyways, what I was going to mention for next week's Zoom meeting, the nutritionist that works with Dr. Vara Tarman in her clinic, he is going to be the guest speaker at next week's Zoom meeting about nutrition. So I invite you all to come, and Jolene as well, because I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions about nutrition, and that, do you guys enjoy these Zoom meetings?
Yes, I do.
I've enjoyed my first one that I finally figured out how to get into.
Oh, good, good. Well, Lynn, I'll just let you know that we had another person in the meeting, and he decided to show everything. And we were very shocked. We had a I don't know what you call it, a flasher? What was it?
Somebody brought a baseball bat to the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, somebody brought a baseball bat to the Zoom meeting. All baseball bats.
The mouse was out of the house.
It was the biggest baseball bat I've ever seen. And I'm a gay woman, and I am shocked every day when I see baseball bats. Oh yeah, I always think, how would Ellen DeGeneres react to this?
You guys remember
to tell a joke
in the office when David Niven was hosting and a person just ran behind him. It was in the 1970s, an Oscar at the Oscars, and there was a naked man that ran across the stage.
I remember that.
That's the first thing I remember, that when that happened today.
Yeah, but that was running past. This was just like waving.
No, this was full on. Let me show you my baseball bat, and it was like, what the? And it was, I was suspect.
Wendy's like, look away, look away.
I was so shocked. I just like, of course, it's, public. It's a public, anybody's allowed to come in. It's like, it's out there. So that, of course, there's going to be these creeps out there that want to show their baseball bats.
He needs to find a hobby.
Obviously.
Well, sure you can keep him blocked, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, maybe just be suspect if a man comes into our Zoom meetings that most men are not interested in, even if they've had the weight loss surgery, they're not interested in these chat rooms. Did you who was it that was participating at last week's conference? Were there many men there? We had a big bariatric online conference, weight loss surgery conference last weekend here in Ontario. Were there men in these Zoom meetings?
I didn't notice any.
No.
Not as many. I mean, a lot of these men that find us and they come in, they think we're easy targets for a green card. I don't know, because they think that you're heavy, no one wants you. It's true. My dad used to have an old sedan Cadillac, and it was like beige and everything. It was like total just, oh my God, old fart car. And honestly, like, you know, I'd take it because I'd take him down to meetings and stuff and different doctor's appointments, whatever. And I'm like, you know, like certain areas of our city, you know, I was like, I'm like a green card going through this area. Like I'm heavy and I'm in a Cadillac, and they're thinking, woohoo, you know, free ticket. Because they think you're lonely enough and desperate enough to just fall for those baseball bats. And it's not okay.
No.
Oh.
Well, anyway, that was the excitement for our Zoom meeting, Lynn.
Created equal.
No, you are not kidding, Lynn. Oh my gosh.
It's Jolene, are you? Do you have a partner? Are you married or?
I am not married. I am single. I've got 2 fur babies, and
yeah.
I mean.
And Veronica, are you married?
No, I'm not married. No kids. No fur babies either.
No. And Lynn,
no kids either.
I am quite single.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll remain single for now, all of us.
I'm married, Lisa, but I have.
You're married. Yeah.
Married, but you know, he's a nice person, but I don't know if he's you know, not because he met me when I was heavy, so it wasn't like I you know, was thin and gained a whole bunch of weight, and then, you know, but we've not been on a good he's not here so I can talk about him, but he's a good person, and he's a good man, and I've lost friends over saying, oh, you don't know, why don't you want to stay with him, because he's a good guy. And I thought, yeah, but you know, if you're not physically, like a lot of relationships break up from this surgery apparently, because of you know, the change and the partners feeling insecure. I don't think he was this way with me before. So if you're married but you're not intimate for 3 years, are you really married? Like, I mean, I don't know, I don't feel like that's, and he's not encouraging necessarily. He doesn't say like just stay out of his clothes, because I try on his clothes and he's like, oh, stop trying on my stuff, and I'm like, wow, you should be happy. Like, no, hey babe, wow, you know, like I can't believe it. Like it's I'm sure he's happy in his own way, but he's not verbalized it, and he's the only one that's really not said anything. So we were on the rocks beforehand, so I don't know if it'll last, but he's a nice person. We're like roommates. I have a good roommate. So I don't know how that will go long term, but you know, I have no kids, so I have no ties to him or anything like that. So it's not permanent. But I mean, I don't want to not be a friend, but I don't know how long term it would be, because you need support with someone, and because he's skinny and can eat everything, it's like, you know, he eats all kind of butter tarts and, you know, chips and whatever. And I'm not necessarily bad about it, because I could have a bite if I wanted to, but I just don't want to go back to where I was. So I'm just kind of riding out the wave right now and taking advantage of the fact that I'm in a safe place with no abuse, and because I was abused the first time, you know, that I'm in a safe place and I'm happy and enough. It's a roommate thing, but I'm happy enough for now. So I'll stay there for now. But just the weight loss definitely ride the wave for better. Now. Yeah, well, like it gives you in confidence. So
and that's a topic that we can talk about in another Zoom meeting as well. Your relationships with other people, relationships within your family, relationships with your partners, and how it's changed.
Or even with public relationships, because I noticed, I don't know about anyone else, I get treated differently now that I've lost 100 pounds. I used to get dirty looks, always like, ew, like, why are you here? And, oh, don't touch me, you know, kind of looks on like they don't want to talk to you because the fat might transfer to them or something. I don't understand that whole thing.
It's weird.
But they definitely treat you different.
Yeah, they treat me nicer too. I was very, very bullied by general public in general. Me too. Where I would be zooming around downtown Toronto on my scooter at 450 pounds, and people just steered clear of me like I had COVID-19. So anyways, I think it's great that you guys joined in today, and I'll have to edit this video big time because of the baseball bat. And because I was planning to just put this whole video on my YouTube channel as a whole and not edit it. But
it would have been easier not to have to edit it.
Yeah, but now I'll have to edit it. But I really thank you so much for joining me today, and come back next week, and we'll see what this nutritionist will be able to share with us. Sound like a plan?
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, and really, good luck, Jolene.
Really appreciate what you're doing.
I'm
thank you.
Nervous and excited and trying to figure out how to navigate some things. Like last night I went on, was looking on Amazon and like bought some smaller storage containers, you know, like just itty bitty things.
Do you have a surgery date?
The 25th of this month.
Of June?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
ice cube trays work great too. Ice cube trays are a great way to make portions for yourself of whatever. But I didn't really have, for me, I didn't really pre-make anything. I just basically ate cottage cheese, and then I would have my protein drink, and I had some yogurt, and then I have a bit of soup. Food is not really a big part of your life after surgery anymore. It's really weird, but it's just not. Yeah. And it's a very interesting mindset that's going to happen to you after the surgery. It's very exciting. So we will talk next time, everybody. Thanks again for joining me. Enjoy your Sunday. You still have some nice weather here in Toronto. And thanks again for joining me today. And we'll see you next time. Sound like a plan?
Thanks.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.